Yeah, come on. We've got a little friend this week. This is my auntie and uncle's dog, Ali. She's super cute. We're house sitting in Perth at the moment. But we thought it was about time we sat down and explained a little bit about what you do when you break down travelling around Australia. Fortunately, we have a bit of advice in this area, but there are a few things you can do to make the whole process easier, because if you are traveling around Australia, it's inevitable that something will happen no matter how new and how good your car or van or whatever setup you have is. So we've written down a few tips and split it into 4 different sections, the first being insurance and maintenance. Before you even leave, one of the biggest tips we can give you is to actually get roadside assist. So that depends on what state you are from Australia. So we're with RACQ and we have the top level of cover. Now, because our van is a living quarters in the back, it's considered RV, so it's a little bit more expensive than general car roadside assist, but I think for the year it's about $400. So per breakdown, our insurance gives us $2,400 to use over a bunch of different things. So that can include towing. You can call someone to come out and plug into your OBDI connector and actually diagnose the problem, or give you a hand if you get a flat battery. They change things like that. And then they'll also cover either accommodation costs or car hire, or a little bit of both. So they're really, really helpful, and we've had to deal with RACQ quite a bit, and we cannot recommend them enough. Their customer service is above and beyond, and we're very happy that we spent that $400. We have made our money back time and time again. So the next thing on our list is we've actually heard you can get windscreen cover. We don't have it. Kind of wish we did. I don't know much about it, but it could be worth looking into. You drive beside a lot of road trains. If you've watched our previous videos, you'll see that we once got 5 chips from the one road train and we now have a crack. So we're going to have to replace the windscreen. So because we have an older car or van, our windscreen doesn't actually have any sensors in it. So it's only a couple of $100 to replace, I believe. But the newer cars with all of the sensors can cost like over $1,000. So definitely get insurance on that if you have a newer car. The last tip we have in this section is to keep up to date with maintenance of your vehicle. So this is essential to help prevent breakdowns. We do it, we still break down, it's okay, but the more you check the engine, the more you're familiar with it, the better you're going to understand things when they go wrong. Obviously, having a baseline understanding is really helpful. But there's things like YouTube that can help. We're very lucky. We're friends with our mechanic that helped do our conversion, as well as my dad's very handy, and we know quite a few people. So there's always someone a call away that's willing to give us help, if we have reception, that is. But we'll get to that in another section. But basically, just keep things like coolant and some spare oil in your van at all times. We also swear by Fuel Doctor, so it's a little green thing that we just put in every second or third time we fuel the van up, and it just helps to keep the engine a bit cleaner, I believe. In our old car, our Subaru, it was making a bit of a funny noise, and we started using Fuel Doctor on my dad's suggestion, and it fixed everything. So we have consistently used that on the van, and we haven't heard that noise despite hearing a lot of others. So yeah, van maintenance or car maintenance, and just checking your Ks, checking your tyre pressure, checking the oil levels, the water levels, all of that. Really important to keep on top of the general maintenance of the vehicle. Alright, let's go to bed now.
So you're driving along and your car starts playing up. Maybe the engine starts to shudder, a light comes on your dashboard. Well, you've got to pull over, make sure you pull over somewhere safe. When our van played up and it just stopped in the middle of the road just outside of Kununurra, we only just got off the side of the road and were dangerously close to the edge. We let the engine cool down a bit and managed to make it the 10 kilometers down the road to the petrol station. If there isn't a petrol station around, there are plenty of lay-bys, rest areas, toilets, just general side of the road stops that you can pull into safely. Now you're somewhere safe, you need to call for some help. Most roadside assistance companies have a dedicated app which allow you to book for someone to come out either by calling or over the internet, which is great because in rural Australia you'll find yourself either having no internet service or no phone service. We've just got a cheap $60 antenna from Jaycar that plugs straight into our 4G dongle. Often we'll find ourselves with no signal on our phones, but we'll manage to get at least a couple of bars of 3G, if not some 4G, when the antenna is plugged in. Your roadside assistance will be able to send out a diagnostician to come and help you out. They'll be able to look at what's wrong, diagnose what they can fix and what they can't, and if they're able to organise a tow for you. They might even be able to fix a small thing like if a battery needs changing. Sometimes though, you may just be too far out of a town to be able to get someone out to you, and in which case you'll need to figure out what's wrong yourself and probably even organise your own tow. Always ask around, because local knowledge never goes far astray. After letting the engine cool down, pop the bonnet, and you'd be surprised at how many people will come over and stop and try and help you. And some of you have managed to get us back up and running on dirt roads again, just because they saw us struggling. Lack of mobile signal is an actual real issue in parts of rural Australia, and we'll often find ourselves with literally no phone signal or internet signal. And in situations like that, it's really handy to carry one of these. It's just a portable UHF radio. We can call ahead, call out, try and ask for help, and someone may be able to help us out, or at least be able to have a bit of signal and call someone that can come and help us.
Alright, so you've broken down, you've got RAC to come out, and you've realised you do actually need a tow, and they'll take you into the closest town. So if it's a simple tow and you're not too far in the middle of nowhere, they'll organise a tow for you in the next couple of hours. If you're quite far out, it could take up to 24 hours, or if not a little bit longer, to actually get a tow truck of the right size to come to you. Remember, if you're in a bigger, larger vehicle, ours is only the size of a standard car park, but because it is taller, we don't fit on a normal tow recovery truck, so sometimes they do have to send out the bigger trucks. Not too much of a problem when you're in the outback, because all of the things that break down are pretty big rigs out there anyway, but that is something to keep in mind. We always keep an extra 10 litres of water that's not part of our water tank, as well as just some emergency dry food like gnocchi and noodles, in case we ever get stuck somewhere and we can't get a tow for another 24 hours. So just always be that little bit more prepared. If you don't have reception, try and pull up somewhere like a petrol station of some sort, because they'll always have one of those Telstra, well, they used to be payphones, but they're always free, that you can use, or someone will come past and you can ask to borrow the staff phone from the inside or get some help from someone there. So you've organised a tow, something's wrong. Now, RAC won't organise exactly where to get you towed, so that's up to you. So have a bit of an idea of what's actually wrong with your car or van or whatever you have, and go to a mechanic that is able to fix that. Generally, you'll only get one tow per incident. We've managed to get 2 or 3. Like I said, they've been really nice to us, but sometimes it depends on the policy you have and who you're with and where you are. So you want to get towed straight to the mechanic that's actually going to be able to fix your problem. So call up a few around in the town that you can, and generally they'll all have like specialties. So for example, when our transmission was broken, we had to go to the transmission guy, and then we had to get another tow to get a radiator fixed, which is a bit backwards, but that's another story. So call around, ask for recommendations, and just do be aware, have an idea of what you're talking about, because they can take advantage of tourists, and it's not very nice to be taken advantage of. Now, the other thing to be aware of, remote towns. A lot of breakdowns, a lot of travellers, not enough mechanics. So you may be stuck for quite some time. We had to wait, I think it was 15 or 16 days in Darwin. So we got towed straight to a caravan park. Now the engine actually turned on, and it was only a 4-minute drive from the caravan park to the mechanic. So we couldn't drive it because we didn't want to risk ruining anything again, but we could just get it towed straight into the caravan park, and we stayed there for 14 days. So a thing to look out for is, when you call roadside assist, they'll give you options of hotels, accommodations, caravan parks, etc. If you've got a caravan, great, you have a home set up. So because ours is attached with the motor, sometimes you can stay outside the mechanic, but when it's something like 2 weeks, do try and book some accommodation, and just look out for things like where we were staying in Darwin. Lucky we had friends with us, but we could have gotten a bus into town, so look out for things like that so you can get around without your vehicle. Or if you really are stuck, you can hire a vehicle for the amount of time. Just try and keep it as minimal as possible, the cost as low as possible, so you don't go over your limit, because it does add up in case it happens again. So things like hostels are good because you could get a private room. We've done that before as well, because you can still cook in there and you don't have to eat out every day, as well as staying in caravan parks. Obviously you have everything you need, and so we stayed somewhere powered.
So just some things to kind of bear in mind really is, things do take a long time when you're on the road. It can take weeks to get the right part, to get fit into the mechanics, but that can also be a blessing in disguise. Sometimes spending a couple of extra weeks than you planned in a city or a town can really open your eyes and let you meet some amazing people and go and see some sites that you'd never planned on seeing. We've had generally pretty positive experiences. There's been a couple of questionable ones where we've definitely been taken for a ride, but for the most part we've met some really nice people and everyone's been really willing to help us out with the little tools that we've had. We've learned so much on the road. We're certified bush mechanics now. But yeah, it can take a long time. You've got to be prepared and have your wits about you, and you'll learn so much.
If you watched our channel for a while, you know life on the road definitely has its ups and downs, and breakdowns, unfortunately, are just part of life on the road, particularly when you drive an old vehicle. But that's not to say it doesn't happen to the newer ones.
No, it definitely doesn't.
Everyone needs oil changes, keep up to date with those, but yeah, try and keep as positive as an attitude as you can when this happens. Try and breathe. You'll figure it out. It'll work itself out. Things don't go to plan.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of the road.
No, or the end of the world.
Exactly.
It makes a great story and you will learn so much. We hope this helped. Let us know in the comments below if you have any other questions or if you too can commiserate
Yeah.
with breakdowns along the way. Catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.